it is. Right there. Boom.
There we go. Oh, I don't have my mic in. Can you guys hear me okay?
I can, yeah.
My mic is
I'm using the computer mic, not the actual.
If I change my mic settings, it makes everything else go to hell.
The sound's okay?
Sounds fine.
Yes. Okay, everyone, welcome to another 2.5 oYajis. Today is Wednesday. What is it today? July 23rd.
23rd.
July 23rd. And cheers. Cheers. And I wish people would stop saying that I'm an alcoholic. I don't know why people get that idea. Really bugging me. But tonight, Nico Simon, as always, is here. Can he hear me?
Whose audio?
Okay, I can't hear.
Sorry.
This is
As usual.
We can change the mic settings.
Hiko, can you hear us? Can Hiko hear us?
I can hear now.
Okay.
I can hear now.
Yeah. Sorry, that was my fault. I refreshed the page.
Hiko, as you know, has this deep dark secret, and that is that he's half Australian.
Yes, that's right.
Right? And today we've done him one better. We've actually found a real Australian, pure Australian.
Pure.
And he's decided to come out of the closet and confess that he's actually Australian.
3 generations back.
It's rare that you find an Australian who's willing to admit that they are actually Australian. So I'd like to commend Regan, our guest tonight, for coming out of the closet and in front of God and YouTube.
And at least like 40 people.
And 40.
Yeah.
30 people. Look, now we had 53 people, now 30 people.
What
they
the
dropped
hell?
it. I don't think I should have told him I was Australian.
It was the countdown, and we had 54 people watching the countdown, and then the live show started.
I know, as soon as we started, now 56, now it jumped. Oh, and 53 thumbs up.
Likes have gone up.
I love you guys, 53.
Quality, not quantity.
Before you leave, I'd just like to warn you, we will not be discussing vaginas this evening.
Really? Then what am I going to talk about?
Not this early in the show.
No, not this early in the show.
Oh, we started early last time.
You may think someone is a pussy in the show, but we'll get to that later.
Okay.
But anyway, cheers, Regan, for joining us.
Thank you.
My Canadian shot glass.
My teacup.
Now, if you've been watching my channel, well, I don't know. I don't even know if Hiko. I don't think Hiko even knows. Hiko, do you know why I invited Regan on the show tonight? Exactly why?
I know kind of why.
I would like a guess. Can you guess?
So you're in hospital, right?
Yes. Okay, there you go.
Yes. Play guess the condition.
Guess the condition. All right, did it involve a proctologist?
No,
arguably, yes.
You don't want to go there, honestly. You don't want to go there.
There were hemorrhoidal type symptoms. Definitely.
Problems.
I swear I fell and I sat down and I had no idea.
Yep.
I fell right down on that bottle. I don't know how that got in there.
How that got there.
So anyway, Tomoko is here. Darth is here. Good to see you. Let's say a little hello. Shinitakunai is here. That's a new
watching.
person.
See, we mentioned vagina and proctologists, and now we have 69 people watching.
How many people watching? We should just next week's show, vaginas and proctologists. Yes, Regan was in the hospital, so why don't we back up?
And
oh, that's what put him in the hospital.
Be careful.
Why don't we back up and get a little history on Regan's Regan in Japan first. You've been in Japan now. How is it? 3 months now?
Yep. No,
4 months. Must be 4 months.
When did I come? 19th of February. What are you in July? 5 months?
5 months.
Yep. Okay. And I was here 3 months last year, living in Saitama. I did a homestay.
Saitama, nice.
Who lives in Saitama? There's another YouTuber who lives there. Oh, actually, doesn't Abroad in Japan live up there? No.
He's up in Yamagata.
Okay, he's
up posting.
Sakana fish.
I have to apologize to him. I know he's watching tonight, or he's listening to it in the background. I got to apologize to him because I promised him a Skype call tonight, and I forgot to do it. I accepted your request over the top of his.
If you'd like to, you could do 2 birds with 1 stone if you need to,
No.
Off whatever you usually do with him, whatever. We're okay.
No, he's not really worth it.
I can just cuddle the camera or something.
Yeah, he got trumped. So I did that 3 months last year, and I've come over this year on a working holiday doing English teaching here in Nagoya, and that's how I met Victor as well. So that's my history with Japan.
Right.
So Victor was teaching you English?
Yeah, I was Australian, but now I'm fluent in English.
Oh, great.
So Hiko, how much of all the Australian slang do you know? You know all biscuits and cookies and scones and I've been studying a bit, you know.
Sorry, it's slang. Well, honestly, I mean, I go back to New Zealand and Australia now, and everyone just says, "Go away, you're South African. Don't stop pretending to be from here."
Really?
So, yeah, nobody even accepts I'm local anymore. So I don't know. It's funny. When I've met with Australians and they've started using lingo, I've gotten so used to not using it. I'm like, oh my God, did I used to talk like that? I got no idea. I've lost it all.
Really? No.
Yeah.
You still understand everything, right?
Sorry?
You say scone or scone now that you're in
Scone.
Scone.
No, say scone. Who says scone?
Americans say scone. I think British people say scone too.
No. Scones. Come
Any
on.
British people, please back me up.
Scones.
Scones. Definitely scones. I didn't even know that there was a different way of saying that.
Hmm.
Do you like
I thought scones were a bit posh. I would have thought British scones.
Really?
Hmm.
What
British is British scones?
Oh, abroad in Japan says, Yamagata mate, yeah, screw you, Regan, I'm coming for you.
Sounds right.
Okay. Okay, let's
He
get
is
back
in
to this.
Yamagata. There's not a lot to do.
So, you're, now what about your medical history? How comfortable?
My medical history. So 2 years ago, what was it, 2012, I think around March, April, I got the hiccups. So this was the first thing that happened. I got the hiccups.
Okay, I've got a question. Sorry, I know it's a bit early in the piece, but does that have anything to do with Fukushima radiation?
No. What was the date of that? What was the Fukushima date?
That was
It happened about the same time, I think.
Yeah, it was about 2011, but it was after. So it was, I mean, you
could
were
have been
breathing in the radiation.
Could have traveled all the way to.
I hear a lot of people saying that it's traveled through the oceans and going over, I think, what was it, the coast of America as well.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't be surprised. Brisbane's pretty close to the ocean.
There's dead giant octopuses and stuff that are washing up in Los Angeles. Yeah, it's pretty ugly. Yeah, and they're causing hiccups everywhere.
Yeah.
It's totally.
It's a global
same symptom.
Yeah.
It's the apocalypse.
Yeah, it's the hiccupalypse.
Hiccupalypse. Everything's got to be apocalypse, right? Oh, that annoys the hell out of me. I hate you like that. By the way, are you wearing an illegally copyrighted T-shirt that you got in Malaysia?
Yes.
For $5 for $2.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Are you supposed to be Mr. Copyright Protector and you're buying knockoffs in
No,
Malaysia?
no. Actually, honestly, they sold it for $5, and they told me it would last for a long time. So it's good.
Back to the hiccups.
We're never going to finish this story. You realize that?
We sound like we don't care about his medical history.
Better things.
Go ahead.
I was drinking with a friend, and we had like a play fight, and they kicked me in the chest, and then that night I had the hiccups, and we're sort of laughing about it because I was drinking, and because they went on for like hours and hours, and I couldn't get rid of these hiccups all night, and I ended up having them for an entire week. They didn't go away, so I was actually going to work with these hiccups, and this wasn't just like bouts of hiccups.
Had you been taking that thing that gets you hard? What's it called? I forgot that medicine that keeps you hard when you can't get it up.
Viagra.
Viagra, yes.
That one, no, not at the time.
It has side effects. I heard.
Yeah, no,
It's
this
funny.
is a different time.
When I was about 6, I remember watching a 60 Minutes episode, or no, you know what? It was Ripley's Believe It or Not. You remember there's a breathy guy.
You talked about Viagra on that?
No, this was 1984, and the world didn't have Viagra yet. They just
Dark time.
They just watched women's pro wrestling or something.
It was
But
medieval times.
that's right. But I remember once they featured, every time there was Ripley's Believe It or Not, we'd all go to school and we'd all say, "Oh my God, did you see Ripley's Believe It or Not?" And they had that freak with 5 arms or something. And on one episode, they actually had a guy like in Alabama or something, wearing the old-fashioned overalls and the trucker cap and everything, who had the hiccups for like 70 years non-stop.
Wow.
And he'd go on a radio show every week, and people would come up with all of their hiccups cures, and he'd try them live on the air and stuff like that. But apparently, he just had that, and the whole thing was nobody knew the origin of them, and although people have cures, this guy tried everything, and for 70 years he'd had it non-stop. And after watching that as an 8-year-old, every time that I got hiccups, I was like, oh my God, what if this time is the time it never ends?
This is it. Yeah.
So,
well, I think 3 days in, I started Googling because I thought I was onto the world record 3 days of hiccups. And it
You were
turned out to
proud.
be like,
You weren't worried. You were proud of it.
yeah, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. But it was like 60
I'm
years.
going to be number one in something.
I think it was that guy. It was that guy. Yeah.
Probably. There was, well, apparently, the one I heard, there wasn't any evidence that I could find, but apparently there was like reporting of this lady that had him for like 60 years or something like that.
Well, there is some guys. Yeah, I've heard of those.
She obviously never found a cure. But actually, I did. I could make him go away for about 10 minutes or so by holding my breath. I did the same thing. I was drinking water.
Yeah,
I did the holding breath upside down. I did everything after about 3 days trying to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And I even hiccuped in my sleep, but I had no issue going to sleep. So my whole family could hear me. I would be asleep and I'd be breathing and just hear this, but for the entire night.
You could sleep through that?
I had no issue because I didn't even realize I was having them in my sleep until after the second night. My family told me.
I've never heard of that. Sleep hiccuping. It's like snoring, I guess. But that can't be good for you to have your breathing interrupted and stuff. I mean, it's got to be bad for your health, even if you're asleep.
Turns out it was.
Yeah.
Bad for my health, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so I had it for about a week, and I went to the doctors, and he gave me a muscle relaxant for my diaphragm. And so I took these pills. I really didn't want to, but it took these drugs they were making me drowsy as well. And he gave me these drugs to slow down the diaphragm. And like I shouldn't have even been out of bed. I remember driving to the supermarket, and I shouldn't have because they just made me he didn't say that I couldn't, but he should have because I was just dead. And then after a week, I was on those drugs. I stopped after 3 days, but still after a week I was really groggy, and the left side of my face had palsy, like it just went, and had my left eye went down, and I had tingling in my arm. And at the time I was like, oh no, I shouldn't have taken the drugs. Doctor prescribed me something stupid. He's like, it's muscle relaxed my whole left side of my body.
It sounds like, it sounds like
had just become a vegan.
Yes, this was like 2 weeks in. And my friend rang me, and he was like, do you think it could have been... Yeah. And he was like, do you think it could have been because you stopped eating meat? And I thought, 2 weeks in, I don't think that had happened, and it wasn't really something that vegans usually get.
You know what this sounds like? It sounds like...
Vegans get a big ego, not hiccups.
Yeah. You know what this sounds like? This sounds like Kiken drug.
Kiken drug?
Yeah, you hear about this?
Apple Hub.
No. It's Kiken drug. You have to call it dangerous. So apparently because on the news, like, you know how they have these uphold herbs, these like oregano that people smoke? Yeah, well, apparently because it's been they've become so popular, and because the name says it's not illegal, like, as in legal, law-evading herbs. Now, the police have asked all media outlets to stop calling it legal herbs and to start calling it dangerous drugs. And as of today, that's what they're calling it all over NHK, and it's like the dumbest renaming of anything that I've ever heard. But it wasn't like you weren't like smoking oregano or anything like that at the time.
No, I think I was putting them in my pasta, but that's about it.
Okay, you can never have too much oregano.
Oregano
is my favorite herb.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, time out because I don't really know Australia, but
I thought this was a timeout.
Is Australia pretty? How are you guys about marijuana? What's the mentality down there?
I know a lot of people that get their hands on it all the time. It's it's definitely illegal, but nowhere near as what I've heard in America. Like popularity, sorry.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I know people.
The image of Aussies and New Zealanders, you guys are always high. I don't know why.
No, it's just our culture.
Yeah.
We just act that way.
We just get good sunshine.
I think I think it's actually like it's decriminalized in ACT, as is uncensored porn, which ACT is like the Washington DC of Australia. It's where the capital is, and like everything is legal there. It's kind of crazy. I guess it's the only reason people would want to be politicians and go and live up in the mountains there.
Yeah.
But every Australian I pretty much know does everything. New Zealand, it's pretty much limited to. Well, it's changed, I think, since I left. Now there's more synthetic stuff. But when I was there,
really? Synthetic stuff.
Yeah, now they've got P and methamphetamine and all that stuff, which wasn't there when I left. But when I left, it was all weed. In fact, I knew people who would actually boast like cigarettes were so heavily taxed in New Zealand. It was like 400% tax. It's actually cheaper and less addictive to just use herbs.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people who actually proudly said that as their excuse.
I'm saving money.
Yeah, I'm saving money and it's non-addictive. That would actually, it was
And
pretty
it's not,
convincing.
and it wasn't illegal as well, right?
It is illegal, but it's funny because the police in New Zealand have been campaigning to make it legal for like 15 years. It's the lawmakers won't change it.
Police.
The police don't know because they think it's a waste of their time because it just clogs up the system.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were not a drug addict. It wasn't vegan.
No. No, it was So after I think 2 weeks of hiccups, I had tingling down my arm, and so I thought it was a bit extreme considering I've been off the drugs for like 10 days. And my brother's a nurse, and so he came into the gym that I was working at, and it was like a Sunday afternoon, and I told him. He looked at my face, and he's like, "What the hell is going on?" Because it was all lopsided, looked like I had a stroke, and because he's a nurse, he's like, "What's going on?" And I told him about the tingling in the arm, and it was like 5 minutes to lock up. And he was just like, "You got to go to hospital. You got to go right now." So he drove me to the ER, and they did a CT scan.
5 minutes to lock up. What does that mean?
Till I finished work. Yeah. And so he was like, as soon as you finish, go lock up, and I'm going to drive you to hospital. So we went to hospital, and we went into ER. It must have been. Actually, I stopped off to have dinner. I stopped off to have dinner and get changed. I was like, well, I'm a bit famished. And so then we went to hospital. It was like
You
9
went
or
to a
10
vegan restaurant on the way?
No, I was
You
cooking.
just
I went
grab
home
a sandwich. Seriously, you go to a restaurant.
No. I cooked my
Imagine
own food.
living
I
the life.
went home and cooked up something. And so then I packed up some clothes and went to hospital. And they did a CT scan, and it was just my brother and I, and they found a 1 centimeter lesion on my brainstem.
Jeez.
And so with the CT scan, they didn't know what it was, and so at that point they figured it could be cancer, like the shape of it and everything. And so all we knew that it was a growth, and this was on the Sunday night. So we called my parents, they came in and everything, and then my cousin worked at that hospital in radiology, so we were able to get an MRI scan by the Tuesday.
Oh, it's a good place to have a cousin.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, lucky.
And so it was the same hospital my brother worked at, so they both worked at the same hospital, so I was definitely well taken care of.
Oh.
And then, on the Tuesday they did the proper scan.
There again, you say your brother and your cousin worked at the hospital. They didn't play any pranks on you with the medical treatment.
Oh, who knows?
The whole thing could be a prank.
Yeah.
Well, seriously, you need this examination.
Just pulling your leg this whole time.
They probably just dug up someone else's scans and thrown them at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
we'll totally punk this guy and make him think he has cancer.
well, I did for 2 days. I thought I did because we didn't know what it was. That was worst case scenario. Best case scenario was in fact what it was, which is an angioma, and
What's an angioma?
It's a bleed. It's a blood vessel that it doesn't break, but it sort of cuts open and stretches out like a balloon. A weakness in that muscle of the vessel, and it blows out like a balloon. And from the blood vessel, blood starts going in there, and it balloons out. Yeah. And usually, people can get them more commonly than they're actually found because they can happen anywhere in the brain. Right. But mine was particularly curious because the doctors couldn't believe I had hiccups as a symptom. They had no idea what it was until they did this scan because they were just like, "Oh my God, this guy's had the hiccups for 2 weeks. What's he got?" But it was where it was on the brainstem, so it was hitting all my nerves, and that's why I had the tingle.
Dr. House, he would know.
Yeah. He would totally know that.
Well, that was the week that it was the season finale of House. I watched that last episode in hospital.
And he didn't have the answer?
But now he retired.
I was like, why? I could have called in.
Yeah. Honestly, you gotta go. So that's it. You know what? That's interesting. Is it true? I mean, I don't know since I watched Ripley's Believe It or Not in 1984 what the latest science on hiccups is. Mm-hmm. But the last that I heard in 1984...
The latest science on hiccups.
but
Hiccup Weekly.
But seriously, in 1984, it's like hiccups and AIDS, both of them still didn't have cures.
Yeah.
And science didn't really understand at that time actually what the trigger was. It is like a medical mystery, right? Is it still the case?
It's an irritation of the diaphragm was all I was told. I have a cure for me now, which is...
We don't need to use that kind of language here. This is a children's show. Don't talk about diaphragms.
Ignore that Puerto Rican.
Yes. But I don't know. I didn't do a lot of research into the hiccups outside of who held the record.
But that thing, so a lesion on your brain, a lesion on your brainstem was a symptom that well, hiccups is a symptom of the lesion on the brain. That's interesting. I mean, that implies a link, which is totally like, and everyone would have thought it would have been like you say, like an automatic kind of muscle response to something.
Yeah, they
But
thought
this
it
is
was
totally different.
they thought it was some sort of neurological disease or something like that until they
Wow.
got the scan. They were really confused. I had in the first doctor's office that I went to, I had other doctors coming in and be like, "Oh, you're the guy with the hiccups? That's super interesting." I was like, "Thanks."
But it is. That's really cool. Oh, that
Yeah.
totally should be a house episode.
Yeah, I'll have to send it in if they ever do a reboot in about 40 years. I'll
They
send it in.
people look at the movie.
Although I'm sure the science on hiccups would have updated by then.
They should
They
get
probably know
Stephen
what
Fry
the
for the
cure is.
reboot. Actually, they should get the other guy.
All right, the other guy he took over, right?
Okay, so they found so what do? They just put a needle in and suck the blood out. What do you do?
Nothing. It was at its peak. So by that time, because I'd left it
Just
about
goes away
2
by
weeks.
itself? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a centimetre big, and so they figured it had been filling up over the 2 weeks to get to full size. And then by the time I got in there, if it was anywhere else in the brain, they probably would have done surgery to cut it off and like seal it.
Yeah.
But because of the area that it was in, so close to the brainstem, they said it wasn't. It was more dangerous to operate in case they hit something because it was so close to the nerves that control my breathing.
Wow.
They said if they make a mistake, then I'm on breathing apparatus for the rest of my life.
So it was close to the nerves controlling the breathing. That's what that was probably.
It was hitting those nerves. Yeah.
That's crazy.
The stem cell, yeah. It does all that stuff. All the stuff you can't
Brain
control.
stem.
Your heart.
The stem cell. You mean the brain stem?
The brainstem.
The stem cell.
Stem cells. Stem
Stem
cells.
cell.
No, the Obakata was working on this. I know all about this.
She's a fraud. She's a fraud.
You should get Obokata to treat you. I'm sure she could fix it. She's
Well,
done it
she-
200 times.
Yeah, she believes in the stream in the brain stem.
I've gotten through 2. I think I'm all right.
What about the punch in the chest? Did that have anything to do with anything?
Yeah, it does. I've made her feel guilty about that for 2 years.
Wow.
I said that she gave me a brain bleed.
Oh,
She
the
got
whiplash.
horrible.
The
Is she hot?
whiplash.
Do you prey on her sexually or?
No. She was my housemate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is
No,
that what they
but-
call them nowadays?
In Australia. Yeah. I hope she
Housemate.
doesn't watch this. No, she.
Let's take the
yeah,
chances
no.
are mathematically in your favor.
I just gave her shit, which I shouldn't have at the time. We didn't even know if anything bad was going to happen, and I was ripping on her, saying that she put me in hospital. So looking back, that was sort of cruel, but in the end, it
Could have
turned
sued
out.
her. In America, we would have sued our. We sue our friends. That's what we do.
Yeah, actually, I don't think she would have had much money back then.
Okay, so then we go back and that's back in time. We go back. We go forward in time 2 years
Yep.
from 2
Yeah.
years later, right?
So they told me that it was like a 0.5% chance of reoccurring every year as it went along. 0.5. So it was super low. And they didn't know it, they couldn't tell. They said there wasn't enough research to say whether it was whether it was genetic or lifestyle, environment, anything. And so it actually turned out to be a really great thing that happened to me because at the time I was planning a trip with some friends of mine to America to do a big drinking holiday around the whole country for about
Go
3
to
months.
America
All-
and
all
have
these
medical
things like
problems.
Yeah. Well, that was it was at a good time because I was sort of at a stage where I didn't really want to do that. I sort of wanted to travel alone and get
Because
out
of
of it.
Obama.
Yeah, big part of it.
Yeah.
I understand.
And so it changed my plans, and so I decided, they said I could travel, but because it was a blood thing, a vessel thing, I didn't want to do flying for 6 months. And so I changed after that. After the 6 months, that was when I decided on Japan. So it was actually one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
So you swam to Japan.
I swam to Japan, yeah. I could have taken a boat, but I decided
Pretty close.
it didn't look that far on the globe, so
No, it's just up.
just
That's
across
all.
the
Yeah,
the
just
river.
go up.
Yeah. So, yeah. So then that's why I went to Japan for 3 months. I just decided to travel. I wanted to do Asia and travel alone. And then, this year I've come back, and so it happened again. Probably when was it? I think 3 weeks ago I started getting the first symptoms. Half my face started to go numb,
Yeah.
and I had always had a little bit of residual numbness from the first one, and so it started getting stronger. But I'd been sort of just running a bit more recently, and so I thought, okay, it's just because I'm exercising. There's it's just affecting it a
I'm
bit
feeling
more.
worse than ever because I'm exercising. Must be that.
Yep. And so I had a phone call with my brother, and he was like, go to hospital. And so I was like, no, I'll give it a couple of days. It'll get better. And then
I'll make a sandwich.
Yeah, it's just like, can I make some lunch and pack some clothes?
Is that like an Aussie joke?
I haven't even had
Well,
lunch.
because that's what happened the first time
Let's
when he
have
was
a
going to the
discussion.
emergency room. He made dinner. Every time his brother tells him to go to the emergency room, he says, "Well, let me eat first."
Let me get something to eat. Hospital food's crap. And then I think on the Monday I messaged you, Victor, because you had just had the lump in your back. You'd done the scan, and so I was asking you how much it would cost to get that done, just as a precautionary thing. And so I think that was the Monday I texted you, and I was going to go on the Wednesday, and then Tuesday I went to work, and I started getting hiccups while I was teaching class.
Oh my God.
And so I was like, shit, I got to go. So I waited till after work, cooked up some food, and went to hospital. I did have dinner again. So, yeah, and then I went in.
So this is the part I'm really interested in. So you went to the hospital, you went to the emergency room.
Yes, so I went to Dainichi Hospital in Nagoya.
What time was it?
This was about 11 o'clock.
Okay.
11 to 12 o'clock. So this is my first time in a Japanese hospital.
Did you go alone? Or did you have
no, Kaz, I texted Kaz, and Kaz picked me up and took me there. And then we went in because, I do not speak nearly enough good enough Japanese. And so we went in there, and I think...
Some Japanese, I've heard you speak Japanese.
I can speak a little bit, but
yeah, but
medical
when you're going into the radiology department, yeah, I would get a translator.
Yeah, I could tell him that I couldn't feel things in my face, and that was about it. So Kaz was there; she did most of the talking, but I was only waiting for about probably half an hour before they called me, and it wasn't a long wait at all. Mm-hmm. This was in the emergency at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night, and so I think it cost me $50 extra because it was my first time to the hospital, and they gave me like a card thing, and then within half an hour I was in seeing
$5 or $5? It's usually $5.
Was it $50?
50.
For
I
the
guess
first
they took
time
a
to
bit of
that
a
hospital?
security.
No, it's $50.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
It made
basically-
sense right away. It only $2.
Yeah, so it's like a hostess club where the first time you have to pay to become a member is like $50, and then they give you like a little membership.
But there's no
card.
perks. There's no perks for the first $50.
Yeah. Well, they save you from cancer. Apart from that, no perks.
Yeah. Yeah, so the doctors were really good. They did the checkup. They were asking me about my previous stuff. I had a picture on my phone of my head scan from last time.
Yeah.
So they had a look. Yeah, of course.
On your phone.
Yes, you keep your records, totally. Yeah.
Definitely. I've got the records all with me.
I have pictures of my pets and wife.
Yeah,
I
I don't have either of those, so I keep photos of my brain.
Yeah,
Check out my friend.
I'm sorry, no, I don't want to see the pictures you take of yourself on your phone to show people, Victor. But yeah, no, it's a good idea for your thing. Definitely having the medical record scanned on your phone is a very good idea.
Yep. So I showed that to him, and he had a look at it, and they were just asking me questions. They're testing, like, they had like the wet swab to see the numbness in each side of my face and how far down to my arm it went. Mm. And then I went and so they said, okay, we'll do a CT scan. So at this point, I just thought it could be back, or it's playing up again. So they wheeled me into a CT scan, which only took, again, like another 10 minutes. It was really quick. And we did the CT scan, and so I went in, and then, like, I was laying down, got taken in. As I came out, I was like, cool, this is great. Got up, and the guy was like, nope, you're going to lay down. And so they wouldn't let me stand up, and so that was when I figured something was wrong again. And they made me lay down, and I couldn't lift my head more than 30 degrees. And so, because this was the first time they had seen it, so it was like it was there, it was back, and so and at that point I knew because of their reaction, and so this was their first time seeing it, so they were like, he's got a bleed in his head, he should not be standing upright, he can't, stand up, and then there was a neurologist there, and they did all the testing and stuff. We called my parents who were in Europe, and they flew over to Japan.
You had a neurologist on staff at that time?
He was there, yeah. He was the neurologist, wasn't he? The guy who was there.
But that's the big hospital, right? You're saying that's like
this was Dainichi, yeah.
That's the serious general hospital there. So yeah, you'd have lots of specialists, I guess. If they've got a CT machine, they'd probably have neurologists who can interpret the results, right? Yeah, that still is pretty impressive that they just wheeled you in there and you got straight in there.
Niseki Byoin. Not Dainichi. I read the English off Google Maps.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, I went to visit you. So
at least it wasn't Apple Maps. You would have been, if it was Apple Maps, you would have been Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, I would have been in an American hospital.
That's right.
Okay, so from the moment you entered the hospital until they diagnosed you and put you into a bed, it was less than 2 hours.
Within an hour and a half.
Pretty quick.
It was really quick to get scanned. Yeah, to get scanned. Well, it was faster than Australia.
It was faster in Australia?
No, it was
Faster than
faster
in
than Australia.
Okay. And you have a socialized medical system down there too, right?
Sorry?
You have a socialized medical system.
They're very friendly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, we have
They're
a thing called
very
Medicare.
sociable. I mean, so when you say socialized, you imply like something's been done to it. Nothing's been done to it. It's America that's weird. You realize that. You realize that
Oh,
paying
no, I completely realize that. But we call it socialized medicine.
yeah,
No, I don't think it's a bad word.
so paying $100,000 for a dislocated pinky, yeah, that's capitalized medicine, and the rest of us who pay
As far
a
as-
fee that we can survive on, yes, that's socialized.
Socialized medicine has no negative implications for me. Just the
Yeah.
word.
Well,
we-
as far as priorities go for, like a country I live in, I'd want healthcare to be up there. But, I'm biased.
No, as a liberal free market extremist, frankly, I'm just going to be careful. I don't plan on getting sick, and I don't want all those sick people freeloading off me. So that's right. I'm just going to look after myself and be super fit and free and strong and own a gun.
Until it happens to me, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No one has really ever tried to shoot cancer. We got to admit that, No one's ever.
Oh, I'm pretty sure someone's probably tried to shoot cancer.
I think if you looked it up on YouTube, you'd probably find a video or two.
I'm
Gun
pretty sure
rights,
there are, I'm pretty sure there are states where it's encouraged.
Well, okay, so I'm thinking about cost-wise.
Mm-hmm.
You told me the CT cost is $60.
No, you told me the CT cost $60.
Oh,
That's,
no,
that's why I went to the hospital.
Objection, leading the witness.
Yes.
Yeah, in my case, CT cost because and I had an MRI that cost me $100.
Yeah, I only know the total. So they put me in high care unit for 2 nights. That's why they wouldn't let me leave. They wouldn't let me move. I was in high care for 2 nights, and I was in just the general shared room for 1 night. I had 2 CTs and 2 MRIs done. So the initial ones and the checkup, and all up it was $500.
$500.
Yeah.
For 2 nights.
What's that? Gojuman? Yen?
No, Goman.
Goman yen.
Goman, $5,000.
Yeah.
So actually,
I
I
know.
think, yeah, under Obamacare, you can either pay $50,000 cash, or under the Obamacare option is that you just buy the guy Mercedes-Benz. Second-hand is okay.
By the city, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the sponge baths were free, I hear.
Yeah. That was, a couple of people messaged me like, do a rejection therapy in the hospital, get a sponge bath. And by then it had already been done.
It had already been done.
Yeah. You don't have to ask for those.
Well, it's all part of the neurological test. You can explain it.
It's social medical.
Socialized medicine.
Social medicine. Socialized medicine.
Socialized medicine.
Hiko is often, Hiko and I are both accused of being Japan apologists and right-wing.
I am, for which I'd like to apologize.
So to be fair, can you think of anything critical, anything negative to say about the whole experience regarding hospital?
Holy crap! He got a sponge bath
Any
and $100
creative,
CAT scan.
Yeah, between the sponge bath, the cheap medical fees. What did I have? Anything bad? No, not that I
I
can
find
think
okay. Okay. The Japanese hospitals, to me, the decor is a little bit 1960s. It's little
Yes,
Yes,
okay.
I
It was
was gonna say that, but
Yeah.
it was too petty. But thank you, Hiko. For bringing it up.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
they
the
kinda-
room was depressing.
And for a hospital, you expect well lit and super clean and everything, but in Japan they're kind of dimly lit and kind of dusty. Like you kind of look at the floors and think, does anyone ever mop here?
Yes.
It was pretty grey.
And the sponge seats, on most of the university hospitals, there's holes in them. You can see nervous people probably been sitting there poking holes in, and I think I've even seen old cigarette burns from the 1990s on some. So
They don't let you smoke in Japanese hospital. That is a crime.
not anymore. Although I think you still could when I got here in '99. But yeah,
You could. 23.
I'm sure you can sneak out somewhere.
yeah.
The stairwells, I didn't see any smoke detectors.
But there is that thing. You do feel like you're going into a bit of a Soviet era
Yeah.
hospital when you're going in.
Yeah, there's nothing particularly happy about it. All the staff are friendly and that, but as far as aesthetics, the look of the place, it's pretty sad. The only other thing I can think of was that they wouldn't let me stand up,
Yeah, kind of
even though I told them that it was the same thing that had happened before. They were pretty persistent and telling me what to do.
They're persistent. They're holding you down.
Yeah, well they did. They yelled at me when I sort of sat up one time.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh.
Okay, but wait a minute. We've already gotten as far as the CAT scan and the sponge bath. But
Mhm.
last we left you, so you still had the inflating blood thing in your
Yeah.
brainstem, and
So
you're not
I
allowed to
thought it
stand
was
up. So what happened?
I thought it was the same one
Yeah.
and refilled, but it turns out it was a new one. So I've got two of them in my head now. So
Damn.
this one, but it was in the exact same area. So it was on the brainstem again. So that's why we have no idea what's causing it.
What the hell?
But it's in the same area, same thing. So they did that scan. They said that they told me it was a new one, and so that's what sort of made us curious as to what's going on.
So it's the
And
same thing.
then
Did they just leave it, or did they said
exactly the
they
same
agreed it was
thing.
more dangerous to touch it than to?
Yeah, same thing. They said it's not worth operating on unless it's like really dangerous, like if it
Yeah.
was stopping me breathing completely or something like that. But another thing is like the doctors spoke English, so I
Yeah.
had the neurologist. I had like a team of neurologists come in the next morning, and Kaz was there to help me translate just in case. But even like I said, oh, Kaz is fluent, so she can help translate. And he was like, no, she probably doesn't know all the medical
The medical
terminology.
stuff is
Yeah.
tough.
And so he was really good at like it wasn't perfect at English, but all he knew exactly what like his
Yeah.
medical terminology English was really good.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they were great. They were able to explain everything to me in English, which was good.
So what did you do? So you stayed in hospital until it was
I was
back
there for
down again, or
3 nights. No,
was that it?
they said it wasn't dangerous. It had hit the peak, so it was a centimeter. It wasn't growing anymore after the 3 days.
Yeah.
So they said, well, yeah, and this is what happened last time. They just said,
Hmm.
keep on trooping. So
But
Don't
but you,
understand how they are not treating it. It just seems like come on.
well, it just has to empty itself. So it has to drain. So I've got a scan in 3 months to see how far down it's gone.
but they couldn't
And
use things like blood thinners or something like that to help it drain more
they
quickly,
probably,
or
I'm not sure. They gave me something on the first day that
yeah.
was supposed to stop the bleeding, but no, even the first time, like they offered me stuff, but they said it wasn't necessary. So yeah.
By the way, important question: how was the hospital food? Was
It
it the
was
right
okay, yeah.
decision?
They
Well,
respect your veganism.
because yeah, that like I just told them all the things I couldn't eat, and it was pretty much it was just rice and veggies for me. But they had, well, actually, everybody brought me food. I had like 3 guests a day. So originally, the first time I went in there, in 4 days, I think I lost about 4 or 5 kilos.
Yeah, it's pretty
Like
bleak hospital food here.
it was, well, it was better than Australian's one.
Looked okay to
Really?
me. I took a look
How
at it.
bad is Australia's one? I mean, literally, they literally just give you like boiled turnip with no flavor or anything,
Oh, okay.
and and fish and so.
No, I had like rice, and then I had like tofu stir fry, and what else did I have?
Salmon
Like
or something
mixed
like that.
vegetables? No salmon.
Really? No.
Just plants.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
So,
it was
so,
like
so are you still vegan?
yeah.
I'm sorry.
So yeah,
Okay,
for
so
about 2 years.
yeah.
Yep. And so they just had all the different stuff.
We
But I had,
apologize for your veganism.
yeah, sorry, apology.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's not a
Yeah.
side effect of your condition, is it?
No, well, it's happened twice. Haven't been a meat eater both times, so
Yeah,
it could be it.
yeah.
Yeah, but no, the food was great. But I had everything brought in. People were bringing me food, so I put on weight this time, like 2 kilos.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, sort of.
Wow, you put on weight on hospital food. I'd be totally depressed.
No,
That's
no,
like
no. I put on weight from the food that they
after
were getting
okay, they're
brought in.
sneaking
Yeah,
in, right?
it was all good stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
too good. But no, the food. But even the hospital, like I ate some of the hospital food too. It was fine. It was rice and vegetables.
I must admit, and I've told my medical terminology story enough times. I won't repeat it, but yeah, no matter how fluent you are or you think you are at Japanese or any language, when you're going into an area of completely specialized, and it's another thing as well. Like so, when I work with people who do law sometimes as well, and I know guys they can't have a conversation in Japanese, but they can totally talk about contracts and stuff with terms I couldn't follow. And it's the
Yep.
same with medical stuff as well. It's like, and so I remember going in. I remember I think the first couple of times I had to go to a hospital in Japan, and all I knew were like the slang terms. So I mean, I got crazy diarrhea. I just won't stop
I've
pooping,
got a bad case of diarrhea.
the shit everywhere. I don't know the proper way you're supposed to explain it to a doctor. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah,
even
all that
like when
sort
I
of
was
stuff.
in Australia, this was the first time that I'd heard of this, and I was learning
Yeah,
new terminology for English, so it's no surprise.
but I guess that's right. So you would have learned the English terminology for it from your first day. So you can recognize it perhaps when the doctors in Japan were saying it?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was angioma in both. Oh, well, sorry, the doctors always referred to it as angioma, even when they were sort of speaking
Angioma.
broken Japanese English.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's a cavernous angioma.
cool.
That sounds
Yeah,
scary.
oh,
It sounds worse than it. Well, no, it could have been as bad as it sounds, but it's not as bad as it sounds.
yeah. But it can happen anywhere in the body, or is that a specific
Uh,
brain thing?
It can happen anywhere in the brain.
Okay.
Yeah. Mine got lucky that it was in a place that gave symptoms. So usually it just wouldn't give symptoms. They find it, I think, in autopsies and things like that. When they do the autopsies, they'll find it in people that. Yeah.
That's not where you'd want them to find it.
One thing I noticed about the Japanese hospitals, though, I was only in the neurology area,
Yeah.
and one big thing I noticed was it was only old people there.
Yes.
In Australia, there was a lot of young people in the hospitals, and I don't know whether it's lifestyle or anything like that, but in Japan, like I was the only one under probably 50 or 60 inside that
There's
ward.
two things with that. One, basically because Japanese medicine is, and actually Australia's getting a little bit towards America in some ways in terms of the medical thing as well. Like, because of the insurance and stuff like that. And New Zealand is a bit more like Japan, because in New Zealand, the reason we have all the bungee jumping and the jet boating and stuff like that is that you can't sue people. So the insurance premiums and everything are lower, so people don't like do 20 tests when you only need 2 and
You
stuff like
can't
that.
sue people?
Yeah, you can't sue people for injury, for personal injury in New Zealand. The government pays for all the medical costs.
You're kidding me. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So you guy could run you over with a car and you wouldn't be able to sue me?
No, not for my medical care, or not for my psychological harm or my physical care. The government would pay for that. I could sue you for, I don't know if you broke anything that I
I'm an
own for property.
emotional distress or something.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be criminally charged for it. But the idea, so the principle of New Zealand, and New Zealand's got this unique system. If you get run over by a car, you're lucky because you can go and get the money back from the guy. But if you get struck by lightning, you're out of luck because there's no one to blame. And that's kind of from the victim's perspective. It almost makes you lucky that there's someone you can go and sue, and it means that you always have to find someone to blame, or you're out of pocket. That's the problem with the medical lawsuits that you have in America and Australia. So, in a way,
Yeah.
I mean, Australia's getting like that as well. But
I never thought about that. If we didn't allow lawsuits, and the government just paid for it, that would stop a lot of lawsuits.
yeah, I totally forgot where I was going with that as well. I got sidetracked on that thing. But what was I going to say? I'll come back to it.
I forgot.
Well, we're talking about suing people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not that. Oh yeah, sorry. It was two things with the old people, in the
that's right.
hospitals.
Yep.
So Japanese medicine's really preventative, and it's pretty common. People who aren't sick, they go to the doctors all the time, even when nothing's wrong, and the doctors look at them and say, "Yeah, you're all right," or they give them their regular medicine or whatever. But they're not tied to, because it's so expensive and everything, and because they do so many tests for everything. Medicine where the costs are higher tends to be more reactive. People will wait until they're absolutely sure that they're sick, and then they'll go to the hospital whereas there's this whole thing where people who need more regular care, like old people, tend to just go as a habit every week. The other thing with Japan is because the medical checkups and everything are practically free, it's also like a big social gathering thing. Old people just go to hospitals to hang out.
Just
and
hang out,
with
yeah.
each other. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So young people who
On
aren't sick,
zombies.
yeah, and
Push them
don't,
along.
yeah, who don't have a preventative need to go to hospital. Young people tend to only go if they need to, but old people just go because it's free and they can check before anything comes up, and they hang out with their friends there. So yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't invited to any of the old people mahjong tables.
nah, yeah, it's
They
a
have
different
a-
society. They're shutting us out.
You
They're
need to see
shutting
a
us out.
doctor, and all these people are just sitting there in front of you because they got there before you because they have nothing to do.
Yeah, but remember what he said. So they put you straight to the front of the line. They saw an actual sick person. It sounds like they got excited.
Yeah, probably.
Dust off the CAT scan. We can use it.
Finally.
Yeah. Get cross-eyed McGee. I think he knows how to operate it. Well, that's pretty
Well,
cool.
I was
That's
hoping
cool.
we would be able to expose the Japanese medical system, but it seems that it's not really meant to.
Yeah, I really liked it. And that was, I mean, if I had been in any other country, I probably would have flown home. But after the experience I had, it was, like, I feel totally comfortable now that if it happens again, I'll be able to go there, because they've got all my records and stuff as well. But,
Yeah.
like in America, there's no way I'd do it in America. I would be out of there real quick.
be on the first Cessna to Canada, actually.
Yeah.
Well, just a minute. So you paid $5. How did you pay the money? You had to pay right there.
Credit card. Yep, it was just at the table on the checkout.
All right.
Yeah.
I noticed that when I've been in the hospital a few times in the last few weeks now because of my back thing, and they've got automated machines now to pay for everything. You just go up to it like an ATM machine, and they scan. They give you. Well, actually, I can show you exactly what they gave me right here. Let's see where it is. Yeah. So I think I can. Oh, I'm actually not. But they give you one of those barcodes. Do I have one? Yeah, like this. Like that, see? The barcode.
And you just scan it in.
And you scan it on the ATM machine, and you don't have to deal with anyone. And then it says how much to pay, you put in the money, and you're done. That's it. That's the whole thing.
That's pretty good.
I'm surprised.
Okay, if we're going to bag the medical system here for a bit, first thing that really surprised me about doctors in Japan was that they prescribe like 7 types of medicine for everything.
And medicine is expensive, that's true.
Yeah, they give you like 7 different types of medicine. You know how everyone kind of obsesses? Well, I think in American TV shows that we watch in New Zealand and Australia, they talk about all side effects from combinations of medicines and stuff like that. And there's a kind of a thing about doctors trying to they try to give you one medicine at a time because they don't want to get in trouble for the mixing of different drugs and stuff like that. But in Japan, they just, we'll just take all 7, just take them all at once, you'll be fine. And that kind of surprised me at first, although I've never had a problem with that. The other thing, until it's pretty recent in Japan that they even tell you what the drugs are that they're giving you. Like, they literally wouldn't even tell you in the old days, like when I got here, like 10 years ago. They were just, like white powder, pink powder, blue tablets, take them with water. And what they found out because of that was, especially with a lot of the university hospitals and stuff like that, where the doctors were getting kickbacks from medical companies for testing medicines, doctors were using experimental medicines and not informing their patients about it, and there were some big scandals around that with lots of people getting sick. That stuff has improved, but that has been a traditional problem because there was this thing that doctors were like so elevated in Japanese society. It's like I don't have to tell my patients what the medicine is. They do what I tell them to do. And there's some people who have abused that actually very high standing that doctors have here.
Doctors do seem to have this "I'm holier than thou" reputation.
Oh yeah, they are
incredibly arrogant.
And never tell them you got a second opinion. I remember like on 2 days a week, my local doctor, because of course now I've got a son, so we go up all the time for everything, and it's all free. Where we are, I think it's free until junior high school, or all medical care for the kid. Yeah, everything's free.
Wow.
So we go to the local GP, but he's closed 2 days a week. And when he's closed, we do go to another guy, and they do have a kind of a different approach. And so I think we've gone to the other guy, and when we came back a few days later to the regular guy, and he was giving like different medicine or something. He was like, "And what is the name of this guy?" You could tell he was being really catty about the other doctor. Like, how dare you worship another god? So you don't get all that stuff.
The doctors know that other doctors make mistakes.
Yeah.
They know better than everyone else.
Yeah.
They're like drivers. They all think they're the best one, and that everyone else sucks. Yeah. No, so you do get all that stuff in Japan. It is a little bit old-fashioned, obviously, but my experience as well, the quality's been. I haven't had an issue with it. It's cheap.
There is one other point to make. My parents were here. I just remember 2 years ago, and they had a medical problem, just a cold, a flu, or something, and they wanted to go see a doctor, but they're not covered by health insurance, of course.
Mm.
Right now, the other thing to remember, we got to back up a little bit, is for people who are coming over here for the first time, like Regan, who's only been here for 5 months. The first year you have kind of a they give you a special deal. I don't know if you know that, but your health insurance is extremely cheap compared to Hiko's and mine.
Yeah, it's like $12 a month. I think I pay for it.
Right. I'm paying, I think, $300 a month.
Right. Okay.
Hiko, you're in that area, I assume. Maybe more.
Sorry.
Your health insurance.
I'm on some fixed thing. I don't even know.
Yeah, but it's not $12 a month.
No, it's not that. I don't know how much it is. But I don't. Yeah.
They tie it to your salary. So actually, talking about
it's deducted from my pay, so I don't know exactly. I should look it up.
Yeah. And then of course my wife's got me on all these other health insurance in case life insurance in case I die, so she can cash in on my death. smart woman. But for my parents who came over here as tourists, of course they didn't have that, but they were allowed to pay cash.
Yeah.
So not a big deal, and it ended up being like just for an appointment, like I think $100 or so. So not too bad to see my parents to just get some medicine because they had the flu or something. No big deal. It's still affordable, but if you get like American Express travel insurance, that should take care of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing I should mention. I couldn't use my travel insurance because it was a pre-existing condition. So that's why I had to, and that's why I wasn't too worried about Japan because I got on their health system.
Right.
But if you're coming over with a pre-existing condition, and you don't get it in your travel insurance, like if you're in Japan, it hasn't been that much of a big deal because you can get on their health insurance, their social medicine.
One thing as well, so Michael Peckett just made a legitimate point. He said that medicine's always written on the bottle or the box, and if in doubt, ask the chemist. The thing about Japan, in most of the cases in Japan, and it is getting better now, the pharmacist is often if they're not actually in the hospital itself, they'll be nearby, but usually they're in the hospital, even a little local hospital.
Yes.
And they take the tablets and the medicines in the labeled bottles, and they grind them into powder, and they mix the powders, and then they make like sachets of them in like little clear plastic kind of sachets, and they're not labeled. So you've got like little different colored powders, but there's no labels on them except the information slip for the dosage of which one you take, how many times a day. And it's pretty well last 10 years that they've even started actually mentioning what the actual names of the medicines are. So yeah, it's gotten better, but it's not like overseas where they give you pills and the pills are marked and labeled and they're on a. So it's always this thing in Australia or New Zealand or I think America that if you find a bottle of tablets, you look at the tablets and you can say orange with a number 6 on it. You can go online, you can find out what it is. But in Japan, they make it, I think, deliberately almost impossible to figure out what it is, except for the little piece of paper with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, all that stuff is getting better. And I guess as well, Michael, you probably also has had prescriptions in Japan, and maybe it's different for his stuff. But for my son and for my stuff, it's always been kind of it's a black. They deliberately make it a black box, and like you don't need to know. Just do what I say. Just take it. And it's a bit alarming.
I've got another. There's another J-vlogging friend of mine who has a medical condition now, and I think he should get it checked out. Maybe you guys take a look at this. It's not coming up, is it?
No, I've got a black screen. Yeah, right. It popped up. Yeah.
You have to talk.
There it is. I don't know what you guys think of this.
It's like a growth.
Cicada growth. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The doctor maybe can take care of that. What do you guys
That
think?
looks vicious.
That was part of today. We went to Sumo today with Regan and Shane.
I think that's just a day. That'll be day procedure. Easy.
Yeah, no problem. Just get it removed.
Yeah, I've had something like that cut off before.
Cut off. Well, that's pretty much it. I think we don't really have any hard stats or hard facts on this. Just
Daniel Piff is asking, Regan, are you a cricket fan?
Cricket fan? No. I used to watch it at work, but I used to get other people at work used to tell me what the scores was or what the scores were and what happened. No. Since I started traveling, I've got to be honest, I haven't watched a lot. I used to watch league when I was younger and rugby, sort of before I started traveling. But once I started traveling, it all just stopped. It was too hard to keep up.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. Since I've been here, I haven't been able to keep up anymore.
Can we go through some of the comments, Chico? Can you see some of the comments?
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
really bad at. I haven't even been looking.
So, and these bloody YouTube comments are still so hard to navigate. There's like 212 of them, but
yeah.
Okay.
If you have any questions, post them now so we can see them. Even if we haven't answered any questions previously, repost them now and we can have a look.
I'm scanning through. Okay. Random question time. Random question and exit time.
Yep.
Hello KT wants a vagina discussion, but you're not going to get it. Cobras is cheers to Hakuho. I want some questions. Who lives in Tokyo except Charlotte? Me.
It's quite a high population there, isn't it? Or is it J-vlogging only?
I don't know. I think there's
Couple of
we
million.
get pretty good turnouts to the gatherings, which also remember everyone September 6th.
Yes.
Tokyo, the huge summer gathering. Everyone come to Tokyo September 6th.
What was the place? The sports bar?
Tokyo Sports Cafe, which actually we've got to go and still confirm the conditions. It should be the same as last year. But I'm going to go and reconfirm that, which will mean a Nomi Holiday.
All you can drink.
all you can drink for a couple of hours, and then the place will be, just be able to hang out there, which is what happened last year. People stayed there till morning, and it's in the heart of Roppongi, so there's plenty of things to go out and do.
Yep.
But that'll be September 6th. September 6th, come to Tokyo, Roppongi. It'll be awesome.
Start time?
Yeah, that's part of what we're figuring out. I think last time we did it early, but that was because it was a Google event that we were linking it to. But this time there won't be that. So
Yep.
I think we'll try to see if we can get it in the evening, maybe a 6 or like 6 to 8 or 9, and then just stay. We'll do it a little bit early because we can't really be too selfish on a Saturday night and take over all of their nighttime take. But yeah, we'll try to do it. It's probably 6 or 7.
Hopefully Victor can pace himself this time too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Don't drink at the first event at all. Wait till the karaoke. That's the
Yeah.
Victor,
We'll have someone.
I swear,
I'm just so happy to be drinking. Everyone's like handing me drinks. Hey, I bought you a beer.
Someone
Victor,
can
like
shadow you.
I saw it. Victor had 1.5 Shirley Temples, and he couldn't recognize his mother after that.
Yeah. We need someone to shadow him and just be on constant Victor watch until like 8 p.m. and then
I would be willing to have a shadow, yes.
no bars hold, no holds barred.
By the way, our T-shirt. Our T-shirt.
Yeah, t-shirts. So how are we doing? How many have we sold?
We sold 15, and we got 4 more that we're going to get over here and here in Nagoya.
Is it 19? 19 is the threshold?
29.
29. Okay, so we still got a long way to go before we can actually get them done, right?
And so if anyone wants a T-shirt, this is what it looks like. One more time. There it is.
Cool.
Check it out. Right.
That is pretty cool. I want that. I'll put in some orders. So definitely,
Oh, you haven't ordered yours yet?
Yeah, I've ordered mine. That's what I said.
Oh.
Yeah. Question in the comments. Waiting time for the ER in Japan was about 30 minutes. It was just
Very
That's
fast.
excellent, actually.
But,
In New Zealand, you'd expect to wait hours.
yeah, I think Australia was about 2 or 3 hours.
Oh.
Any other questions?
Do most J-bloggers live in Nagoya? No.
Oh.
There's about 4. Well, there's about 6 of us, I think, now.
Actually, we've discovered 5 more that we'll try to find next week.
That's right. Yep.
5 more here, so that's cool.
So people are saying, please put links for the T-shirts in the description box.
Yes, I will. I'll do that. In fact, I think I already have. Yeah, I already have. Yeah, I've already have. Should be there if you refresh the page.
Yeah.
You see them?
Oh, wait a minute. I'm still trying to. Do we just pay the amount when you get there, or do you need to pay it beforehand? Legit Outlaw's asking. No,
You have to give your PayPal information, but it won't take it unless the.
I'm sorry. That's for the. No, she's still asking about the party. She's asking, do we need to pay beforehand?
No.
You mean for the shirt? Maybe she means for the shirt, actually. No, but she says when we get there. So no, for the party, you pay at the door.
Pay at the door.
Yeah. And it should be awesome, and Victor should avoid. Well, hopefully people will not bite anybody, and Victor will not punch anyone who bites people. Although if someone does bite someone, Victor should totally go and punch them.
Who was biting someone last year? I don't remember.
Year before last was it? Oh, you know what? It was even before that. Remember you punched that guy who was like biting people. You onto that fight? It was just after I left.
Someone was biting someone? I don't remember that. Trying to bite.
You weren't. You. There was a guy who was like biting people.
A girl.
A guy. I said a guy.
No, he was biting the girl.
I think that's right. Yeah.
I think I jumped in. Yes.
I mean, as usual, there was the violence was completely called for.
It's always completely called for.
That's right. It's basically Victor's life is like a Marlboro cigarette commercial.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that.
Yeah.
By the way, the thumbnail for our video now is now Shane with the cicada. I don't know why. I don't know how that happened.
That'll draw in the views.
That will do it.
Well, is it hospital visit or something? If that's the title, plus a photo of him with a cicada on his face.
I'll have to change the title. That's right. I haven't changed the title.
Do any of you guys watch One Piece?
No.
No, neither do I.
Little bits. Is there?
I bought manga recently, but no.
Have any of you ever been to the Toei Studio Park in Kyoto?
What?
Someone's asking, have any of us ever been to the Toei Studio Park in Kyoto? The answer to which is no.
Park? Nope. Not that I know of.
Q Midget's asking, have we been following the story of the honey badger joining Japanese rugby? I'm trying to remember.
Oh, yes! Yes. He's coming over here. Do you know this?
Who's that?
Okay, he's, what's his name? I haven't been following it, but I've seen his interviews on the web. Okay, if you search like Australian rugby, honey badger, he used to play for the Western Force until recently. He's coming to Japan, and he's like famous in Australian rugby for
Nick Cummins.
Nick Cummins. That's it. And he just his slang is just incredible. Like it's
Oh yes, yes,
slang.
yes.
So he does these interviews, and they're all over YouTube of just the analogies that he uses, the slang that he uses. It's just his normal vocabulary.
Yes.
And so yeah, he's this big guy. He's got big like blonde curly hair, and I think a mustache at the moment.
Okay, I have a.
If you would like a dose of Australianisms, check out Nick Cummins.
Why do they call him the honey badger?
Because he's just ruthless. Have you seen that video about the honey badger where it gets like it's like non-stop? It attacks any animal and it gets bitten by a snake and poisoned, but it only puts it to sleep and then it gets up and a couple hours later and shakes it off. Here he is.
Yes,
yeah. Yeah, I've got to say, I haven't watched a whole lot of rugby in the last 6 months, but I've seen a lot of Nick Cummins' interviews on YouTube.
Okay, I'm going to be watching Nick Cummins.
Check him out. That's what he looks like.
After this.
He's the honey badger.
The honey badger.
Oh.
Ready. Any other good questions here that we've ignored?
Let me. Isn't that a bug? What are you doing, Victor? LOL. No. What veggie? Today's topic: getting sick in Japan. No, that's about it. People last chance to ask questions, and then we're going. But this has been really interesting, actually. I'm glad to hear that you're better because that's kind of scary.
Here we go. Here's a big one. Can you still get magic mushrooms easily in Japan?
No, they're illegal now.
They're illegal now. Yeah.
Finding them though?
I wouldn't know, but yeah.
Yeah, no, wouldn't have a clue.
To tell the truth, I never. We talked about this the other week. I never really got the appeal of that. Actually, like even as it was legal, and I know guys were like, "Oh, it's legal here. Let's go and take lots of them." And I'm like, why? I don't know. It's not something I'm drawn to myself of all the things, but yes, there are shops that I guess are gonna have to relabel all their stock kick-in drugs now.
Yeah, kick-in drugs.
Dangerous drugs.
Watch out for them.
When did they start saying that? Because just a week ago they were still saying Dapple Home.
Yeah. So now, but as of like 2 days ago, NHK has dramatically followed the Ministry of General Affairs guidelines and changed all of their news titles to it. And they're deliberately using it just to use the term now. Apparently there was like, they did like an internet, like a vote. You know how like people like send in entries for like the best new like a stamp where children draw pictures and stuff. They did the same thing for what should be renamed Up or Herb. And the winner of the contest said kick-in drugs. So now they're promoting it. It's like a big...
There's your next T-shirt. Kick-in drugs. Get them here on 2.5 oYajis.
Well, wait, if we can beat this, we can sell this one first. But
yeah.
Alrighty. Oh, are there any questions from abroad in Japan? Are there any decent 1980s clubs, bars in Tokyo?
Why?
1980s?
1980s.
I'm sure if you get a Nichome, you can find a whole bunch of them. But
I don't think there are many 1980s.
I mean,
actually, yeah. Maybe he should go to Robot. What is it? Robot Restaurant?
Robot Cafe, yeah.
Robot Cafe, yeah. Abroad in Japan, go to Robot Cafe. I've heard it's good. I've seen a couple of YouTube videos about it.
Yeah.
Oh, they're opening one in Nagoya too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, one other thing. Michael Peckett, who is pretty knowledgeable, says that his father's a physician, and it's not surprising that Japanese doctors speak English quite well. The old language of medicine is Latin and Greek, but in Japan, most doctors study German.
Okay.
A lot of them, for some reason, German is the language of choice for doctors here. And I know plenty of doctors who do not speak English well at all, but apparently they know a bit of German. So.
Yeah, it helps them to be kind of confusing and intimidating.
That's right. We have been studying your case very, very carefully.
Someone just asked me what it's like to celebrate Christmas in the summer here.
In Australia.
What is it like to... Well, it's normal. I've done it 23 times. 24 times.
Yeah.
Christmas in the summer. I haven't done a winter Christmas yet, so this coming December, this will be my first winter Christmas.
It's a little known fact that Christmas it's actually the Northern Hemisphere having Christmas in the winter is actually the exception. It's actually
wrong because Jesus was actually supposedly born in July or something.
Christmas is actually July is freezing. No, Christmas, is actually a summery warm time of year. December.
Yeah.
That's the correct way it is. So you guys have it all backwards, actually.
We have, Christmas. Summer Christmas is amazing. I couldn't imagine winter Christmas. Summer Christmas is like we go up to the beach. You go to the beach or someone's place, and it's all like fruit, like summer fruits, and everyone's got day beers, and like we have like singlets and.
I really can't tell if he's joking.
No.
That's
That's
literally what it is.
thing.
That's legit. No, well, so where I am, family does all get together from everywhere, but pretty much you set up a big outdoor table, get a shitload of wine, cook a whole lot of food on barbecues, get fruit, get stuff like that, make sure the pool is out, kids are playing in the pool, the cricket is on the TV,
cool.
the Boxing Day test is on the TV. And it's turned up loud, but no one's watching it. You go to the house if you hear something interesting.
It's a good thing about cricket. You don't have to watch it.
And
you can watch every 10 minutes.
Well, that's right. You eat, you drink beer, you jump in the pool, you go check the cricket every half an hour, and you come back and you sit down and you do bugger all, and it's great.
Yep.
That's how Christmas should be celebrated.
That's Australia.
The downside is that the winters suck because there's just nothing to look forward to every winter. See, in the Northern Hemisphere, you pace yourselves. Your vacations are all designed to make the sucky part of year more fun because you have your best vacations during winter. And then summer, you don't have the big vacations, but then you have summer break. So it's kind of like all through the year, you've got stuff to look forward to. But for us, we have our summer break and our Christmas and everything all at the same time. So our summers and Christmases are awesome. But our Junes and Julys are just miserable because it's just cold and rainy and we're just waiting for it to end.
Yeah. Brisbane's not too bad. Brisbane winter is
Brisbane
like...
doesn't have winter.
That sounds
Sometimes it's like, oh my god, it's 10 degrees, like Celsius. And like, it's like you put on a jacket.
Yeah, my mum's telling me like it was, you don't understand, I had to put on a cardigan the other day.
Yep.
Yeah, mum. Oh, but no.
Alright,
But
very
speaking of
different.
which, I have been complaining a lot today, but what the hell I mean, okay, and every year, I mean, we know that summers here really, really do suck in Japan. I mean, like you think you know what a sucky summer is, but Japan has a kind of a special edge. I mean, Australia, this is the thing. If you ask any Australian what time of year do you like the best, and I guess it's partly because we have Christmas in the middle of it, and we have the long vacations and everything else. Even with 45 degrees and bushfires and everything else, people still unquestionably, I think, like some of the best. You wouldn't even think about it.
Yep.
But here,
Absolutely.
34 degrees and 99% humidity in a city, it's just the most miserable thing.
34 is not bad. It gets up to 40 here. 39, 38 to be normal.
But it doesn't really ever get to like 40, right? I think somewhere got 40 like
I
last year
remember
was a
it being
record.
40 a few years ago.
Australia's dry heat though. Like,
Well, that's right.
it can be 40 degrees, and you'll get sunburnt, but you won't particularly be sweaty.
Well, if you find some shade or whatever, you're okay, even in 40 degrees. But you don't want to be in the sun at all. But 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 with here, like 32 degrees, 31 degrees, like this morning. So I was out walking with the lad to daycare, and it was like 30-minute walk this morning. And this is in the morning. And lately in the mornings, I'll get a little bit sweaty, but not that bad. But today, the weather just changed, like the end of the rainy season. And I was like someone poured a bucket over the top of me. By the time I finished, it was like, in terms of the sweat, I was just covered head to toe in sweat. By the time I got to work, it was like I'd walked through a pool. It was just the most horrible thing ever.
I don't mind sweating. I just don't like going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
If I'm on holidays, and I would love that, to be on the beach and just be able to sit down and sweat
yeah.
No problem at all.
in business clothes, like like a work
Hang
shirt.
clothes.
It is the worst.
Yeah. When you're going, especially when that's the start of your day in the morning,
Yeah.
and then even if you want to go and get a coffee or something during the day or something, that's going to happen to you. It's just you're just a refugee here until bloody summer's over. But no. So summer here sucks, and being on the subway, and so like, and there's always that guy on the train, that one guy in the packed train who's like covered in sweat that no one wants to touch, but everyone has to pack in.
And he smells.
And he smells. And today I was that guy. It sucks. There's just nothing good about summer in Japan.
Yeah. It's someone said, one of the guys that lives here in Nagoya said Nagoya is the armpit of Japan. Apparently it's one of the worst, he said.
Yeah, people say that. Yeah, I've said that before too in my videos.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
Japan
Kyoto.
is Japan, yeah.
I loved it, yeah.
It's like Kyoto, except it doesn't have the culture, but it has the terrible heat.
Yeah.
It's apparently worse. So today at Sumo, a guy in front of us asked his girlfriend, did you see that, remember, Regan?
Yeah. What was it? I don't know what he asked her. He was drunk.
Well, he pulled his
sorry.
arm and said, do I smell? And he pulled it back like this. He's wearing a shirt like this, and he pulled it back like this, and shoved his armpit right in the girl's my face, you know.
Yeah,
He
that's
said,
like
yeah,
right
and he
there.
said, you know, do I stink? But I mean, no matter the answer, what would he have done? There's no reason to do it to her. It was just.
No, you
just
don't. Wait,
a
now I have
checkup. Just
to
as a
drop
checkup.
my face. Thank you.
Yeah.
And with that, well, on that beautiful image, let us end this evening.
Yeah,
See you
leave
later.
that for everybody.
Well, here you go.
See everyone.
By the way, do I... and we have to remember, let's dedicate this show to Kotorichi.
Oh, what happened to her?
Oh, no, she
of
did
course,
the
armpits.
armpit. Yes.
Yes, that's right, Kotorichi.
Very
That's
cute
awesome.
Japanese girl who used to be on YouTube. I don't know if she makes videos anymore at all, but one day
Yes, not those sort of videos. Yes.
she picked up her arm. She says, "I want to be a boy." What was it? I want to be a boy or something? Or am I strange? Am I strange? And her arms were very hairy.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you don't know her, check her out. I'll leave her name. In the comments.
www.
Look for that video. Quite shocking. And next week, Higo, you're okay for next week?
I am okay for next week. I was actually going to get a uvula operation tomorrow, but we cancelled it. I'm going to get a second opinion on it. Yeah, that would have been
What?
a medical
I thought
thing.
only women have those.
No. This is the one here. So yeah,
Oh,
apparently
that
I got a snory thing. I was going to get the laser on the uvula thing, but apparently,
What's the purpose of that?
sorry, stopping snoring.
Huh?
It's stopping snoring.
Oh, so it's your wife.
I have it. Yeah, pretty much.
It's better than murder. I mean, you'd be murdered in your sleep, so yeah, I'd say that's good.
Well, that's it. That's why. So I signed up for it. My wife said no, but apparently it does hurt like hell, and it doesn't always work. So I'm a little bit, but I'm going to get some more advice. But I'm probably going to do that anyway, but just for peace. But yes. So
We'll have another medical.
Might have another medical story for that.
Coming
That's
soon.
right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so no, I'll be here next week, and I'll be on Sunday. And good talking with you, Regan. Actually, and
Yep.
welcome back
Regan,
anytime.
thanks for
Thanks for
talking.
having me.
Yeah.
And thanks all of you for all the comments and the thumbs up. The 74.
Yes.
That's unprecedented. Well, not exactly, but it's pretty good.
Well, you did beg for them at the beginning.
I did.
They listened. Everybody listened.
Thanks
And
for
this
listening.
line of work, begging just goes with the territory, pretty much.
Yeah.
And check for the T-shirt in the description. And remember, if you're in the area on September 6th, we will be
Yes.
having a party in Tokyo.
We'll have to advertise that a bit more, I think.
Tons of us will be there. So,
Have we got a Facebook page yet?
No,
Oh, yeah.
I've got to set it up. So I've got to confirm the details, and we will set up a Facebook event page. And you're right, we need to get to that. So I will
We'll,
be on that.
all right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Excellent. Thanks, everybody.
Peace out. Good night.
See you later.
And we're off.